Hello everyone, welcome to our session That Passionate Desire ECE tutorial Learn with Passion. In today's session we'll be discussing on what is a PN junction diode and its working principle. In the last session we were discussing on what is a semiconductor and what are the types of semiconductors. In the last session I have given an overview of semiconductor and its types. Now I'll just give a glance of it so that you will get an idea to proceed with this session. Okay. Today's agenda is on introduction of PN junction diode and working of PN junction diode. Let's see what happens under unbiased condition and what happens under forward bias and what happens under reverse bias. So in the last session we were discussing on what is the p-type semiconductor and what is the n-type semiconductor. We already know that p-type semiconductor will have majority of holes, whereas n-type semiconductor will have majority of free electrons. Okay, like as we know that a pure silicon or germanium crystal will not have enough number of free electrons or holes to produce a usable current because they are the purest form of semiconductor, which are called intrinsic semiconductor. Okay, in order to improve its electrical conductivity, doping process will be done, that is addition of impurities to the intrinsic semiconductors. So once the doping process is done to an intrinsic semiconductor, it becomes an extrinsic semiconductor. So depending upon the type of impurity which are doped to an intrinsic semiconductor, these intrinsic semiconductors will be classified into n-type and p-type semiconductor. So what are the type of impurities which are doped? So when a pentavalent impurities are doped to an intrinsic semiconductor, it will become a n-type semiconductor, that is negative type semiconductor, which will have majority of free electrons. Okay. Whereas when a trivalent impurity which are doped to a intrinsic semiconductor, it will become a p-type semiconductor which will have majority of holes. Okay, this is what we have discussed in the last session. Now with this basic knowledge we'll proceed with PN junction diode. We'll see what is a PN junction diode and how it works in different biasing condition. Okay, so this p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor separately or individually will have only less use. So what we are going to do is this p-type semiconductor will be sandwiched with the n-type semiconductor by some standard techniques to make it a useful device known as diode. Okay, what I'm saying is when a p-type semiconductor or p-type material is sandwiched with the n-type material, it becomes some useful device known as a diode. Okay, when they are sandwiched, it forms a junction which is called a PN junction. So the device can be named as PN junction diode. Okay, this PN junction diode will have plenty of applications, but main important application which will be used is for rectification process, that is to convert a AC voltage to a DC voltage. That will discuss in the later classes. So now we'll see how it works. Okay, so this PN junction diode will have a unidirectional property, that is it allows current only in a one direction. So we can say that PN junction diode is a two-terminal device with unidirectional property. From the name unidirectional, we can say that it allows current only in a one direction. Okay. Hope everyone is clear on what is a PN junction diode and how it is formed. Okay. So also I want to highlight that this sandwiching, that is p-type material and n-type material, are sandwiched by some standard techniques. It is not sandwiched by some mechanical process or just by bringing a p-type material close to an n-type material. Okay, without disturbing the crystalline structure properties, that is electrical properties, n-type and p-type material are sandwiched by some standard techniques. Some of the processes used for fabrication of PN junction diode or alloying process, diffusion process, or ion implantation, etc. Okay. Okay. Now here I have given three figures: figure A, figure B, and figure C. Figure A represents the block diagram representation. Left side represents the p-type material. That orange color denotes the p-type material. whereas green color represents the n-type material. When they are sandwiched, it forms a depletion region. So the width of the depletion region varies by biasing methods. Okay. Figure B represents the symbolic representation of a p-n junction diode, where left side, that is positive terminal, represents the p side, is the anode, whereas the negative sign indicates the cathode terminal, that is the n-type material. Figure C represents the diode which we see in our laboratories. Okay, so that white color stripe represents the negative terminal. Okay, that is the cathode. So that is the negative terminal. Now we'll discuss on biasing of p-n junction diode. First is bias, forward bias, and reverse bias. Okay, what is the zero bias? When no external voltage is applied to the p-n junction diode, it becomes zero bias. That is, it is an unbiased condition. That is, no voltage is applied to the p-n junction diode. Okay. When some external voltage is applied, it acts as either a forward bias or a reverse bias condition. Okay. When positive terminal of external voltage is applied to the p-type, positive type, and when a negative terminal of the external voltage is applied to the n-type of the p-n junction diode, it becomes forward bias. Okay, I repeat again. When a positive terminal is connected with the p-type and negative terminal is connected to the n-type, it becomes forward bias. So reverse bias is opposite of forward bias. You can easily say when a negative terminal is connected to the p-type and when a positive terminal is connected to the n-type, it becomes a reverse bias. Okay, from the name itself we can easily identify. That is, negative terminal is connected to the p-type and positive terminal is connected to the n-type. Okay, let's discuss in detail about these three biasings of p-n junction diode. Yes. Let's see what happens when no external voltage is applied. That is, when under unbiased condition, what happens to a p-n junction diode. When a p-type material is sandwiched with the n-type material, a junction is formed. So this is a junction. Okay, this is junction formed between p-type and n-type. Here on the left side, p-type consists of holes and a acceptor ion. This represents the acceptor ion. On the n side, we have free electrons and the donor ion. Okay. First, we should know the difference between an atom and an ion. When an atom loses or gains electrons, it becomes a ion. Okay. When an atom loses an electron or gains an electron, atom becomes an ion. So, when an atom loses an electron, it becomes a positively charged ion. Okay. When an atom gains an electron, it becomes a negatively charged ion. Okay. Hope now you're clear on the difference between an atom and an ion. So what happens when a p-type and n-type are sandwiched? What happens is, in the p side we have majority of holes and n side we have a majority of electrons. Okay. When they are sandwiched, there occurs a concentration gradient. What is the concentration gradient? Concentration gradient is that a difference in the concentration of charge carriers. Charge carriers here I am representing as holes and electrons. Difference in the charge carrier concentration represents the concentration gradient. As we know that p-type we have majority of free holes and n-type we have majority of electrons. There is a difference in the charge carrier. Charge carrier moves from higher concentration region to the lower concentration region. Okay. So holes will move from p side to n side, whereas electrons will move from n side to p side. So this process is called diffusion process. So diffusion of holes takes place from p type to n type, whereas the diffusion of electron takes place from n type to p type. What happens when this diffusion takes place? When electrons move from n to p and holes move from p to n, there occurs a recombination. So I'll show the process of recombination and diffusion in this picture. Here I have given PN junction diode. Here no external voltage is applied. As you can see, there is no external voltage applied to the PN junction diode. Left side represents the P type, that is green color represents the P type, orange color represents N type. They are sandwiched to form a junction. So here a concentration gradient occurs, that is a difference in the concentration of charge carriers takes place. So diffusion takes place due to the concentration gradient. So diffusion of holes will take place from p side to n side, and diffusion of electron will take place from n side to p side. So when the diffusion of electrons and holes takes place, holes and electrons recombine and uncover bound charges. So a layer of positive fixed charges are formed on the n side, and a layer of fixed negative charge is formed on the p side. Here you can see that holes move from p to n, diffuse from p to n, and electrons move from n to p. So these electrons and holes will recombine and it will unbound the charges. Acceptor ions will be unbound. Here donor ions will be unbound. That is, these electrons and holes are surfaced out. Okay. And here a fixed negative charge is formed on the p side, whereas fixed positive charge is formed on the n side. So they fixed, so they are immobile charges. They are called immobile charges. The region of immobile charge is called depletion region or space charge region. Okay, what happens here is these immobile charges will further prevent the movement of holes and electrons. That is, here positive charge is created on an n side. So holes will have positive charge. So this holes and this positive charge will be repelled. So this holes will be prevented to the n side. Similarly, here negative charge is formed on the p side. Electrons will have negative charge. So this electrons will be prevented to the movement to p side. So this region of immobile charge is called depletion region or space charge region. Hope this is clear. Here in this side a positive charge will be created. Sorry. Here negative charge is created. Here positive charge is created. So there occurs a potential called barrier potential, BBI. Okay. Here it is negative, here it is positive on the n side. So there occurs a depletion region and potential is called barrier potential. Okay. Due to this barrier potential, we'll have an electric charge, electric field E. Okay. So here holes will move from p side to n side. So diffusion current will be from p side to n side. Similarly, these diffusion will be due to the majority carriers movement, right? Holes are majority carriers in the p side. So this diffusion will take place due to the majority carriers. We also have a minority carriers. Okay, p side, p type will have majority of holes, whereas minority carriers will be electrons, right? So they are thermally generated minority carriers. What happens? So these thermally generated minority carriers will start flowing due to the negative fixed charges, negative and positive fixed charges which are developed near the p-type and n-type. Here in the p side we have negative charge created. N-type we have positive charge created. So due to these charges, what will happen? Thermally generated minority carriers will start flowing. That is, electrons, minority carriers, electrons from p side will move to the n side. That is, they are attracted. Here positive, electrons in the p side will have negative sign, so they'll move towards the n side. Similarly, minority carrier holes from n side will move to the p side. So here this process is called drift process. That is, drift current will take place from n type to p type. Diffusion will take place from p to n, whereas drift will take place from n type to p type. So this diffusion current and drift current will be equal. Diffusion current equal to drift current. So net current flowing under unbiased condition is 0. Okay, hope everybody is clear. Drift current will move from n type to p type, whereas diffusion current will flow from p type to n type, because p side we have a majority of holes. Majority carriers holes will flow from p to n. So diffusion current is from p to n. Similarly, minority carrier holes will move from n type to p type. So drift current is from n type to p type. So diffusion current will be equal to drift current. So the net current flowing throughout the PN junction diode under steady state condition or zero bias condition or unbiased condition is 0. So here under zero bias condition, no external voltage is applied to the PN junction diode. So I am just summarizing the whole process of zero bias condition now. Diffusion takes place due to concentration gradient. As I said, concentration gradient is the difference in the concentration of charge carriers. So electrons diffuse to the p type from n type, whereas holes diffuse towards the n type through the junction from p type. So due to this diffusion, recombination takes place, which forms immobile charges at the junction. So this region of immobile charge is called depletion region or space charge region. Okay, due to this, an electric field is generated. The electric field opposes the further diffusion of charge carriers, so that there is no movement in the middle region. Okay, the region of immobile charges called depletion region or space charge region. Drift current. So this drift current is from p type to n type. Okay, due to positive charge created on the n side and negative charge on the p side, thermally generated minority carriers start flowing. Minority carriers in n side are holes, minority carrier in p side are electrons. So holes will move from n to p, and electrons, which are minority carriers in p side, will move from p to n. So this forms a drift current, and the diffusion current will be equal to drift current. So the net current flowing under zero bias condition is 0. This is the built-in potential formula, which is represented by VBI. Okay, that is a barrier potential formula. VBI equal to KT by E natural logarithm of product of Na Nd divided by Ni square. Okay, where K is a Boltzmann constant, which is 1.38066 into 10 to the power minus 23 joules per Kelvin, where T is the absolute temperature, which is represented in Kelvin, and E, as we know, it is the electronic charge. It is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Na is the acceptor atom concentration, which is present in the p-type material. Okay, where Nd is the donor concentration, which will be present in the n-type material. Okay, here this Kt by E, as you can see in the picture, as you can see in the picture, this Kt by E can be represented as Vt, where Vt is the thermal voltage at room temperature 300 degree Kelvin. Okay, so when we are solving some problems, unless and until temperature is mentioned in the problem, we'll be taking or solving the problems at room temperature, that is 300 degree Kelvin. We'll be taking T equal to 300 degree Kelvin. Okay, so Vt is the thermal voltage, where Ni is the, here I have missed to mention the Ni, where Ni is the intrinsic carrier concentration. Okay. As we solve this Bt by substituting the values of K, T and E, K, T and E, it becomes, sorry, it is 26 milliohms. Okay. So VBI is the built-in potential, which is KT by E, natural logarithm of NA divided by Ni square. Ni is the intrinsic carrier concentration. Okay. So based on this formula, we'll be solving a few problems in later classes. Okay. So as you substitute K, T and E values, the Vt will be 26 milliohms, which is at room temperature. Okay. This is the formula for width of the depletion layer. Width of the depletion layer can be represented as under root 2 into eta s divided by q into 1 by Na plus 1 by Nd into Vbi, where Vbi, as we know, it is the barrier potential. It has the effect on depletion layer. Eta s is the electrical permittivity of silicon. Okay, here I'm taking silicon as an example. So it is the electrical permittivity of silicon, which has a value of 1.04 into 10 to the power minus 12 farad per centimeter. Okay, as we know, Na is the acceptor concentration, where Nd is the donor concentration. So we have seen formula for Vbi, which is barrier potential, and here width of the depletion layer. So typically for silicon at room temperature, value of barrier potential will be from 0.6 volts to 0.8 volts. Okay. Whereas for width of the depletion layer at room temperature for silicon, it will vary from 0.1 micrometer to 1 micrometer. Okay. So let's now discuss on forward bias condition. Okay. So how it is said to be a forward bias condition? Let's see now. So let's take a external voltage V. Here this positive terminal of voltage V is connected to the P side, whereas negative terminal of battery is connected to the N side. That is, positive is connected to P side and negative terminal of battery is connected to N side. So this type of biasing is known as forward bias condition. Okay. So what happens under this condition is, here we know p-type material will have majority of holes, whereas n-type material will have majority of electrons. When it is forward biased, this positive terminal of the battery will repel the holes which is present in the n-type material towards the junction. So holes will move towards the junction. Similarly, this negative terminal of external battery will repel the electrons present in the N type. So electrons from N side will move towards the junction. So under zero bias condition, we have seen that a fixed negative charge is formed near P side. Here fixed negative charge will form near P side, whereas fixed positive charge will be formed near the N side. Here negative fixed charge will be formed. Here fixed positive charge will be formed. Okay. So what happens when it is forward bias is that this holes will be repelled towards the junction, whereas electrons from N side will be repelled towards the junction. So this holes will neutralize the acceptor atoms present near the P side, whereas electrons from N side will neutralize the donor atoms present near the N side. So the depletion region will be reduced. So depletion region will be reduced under forward bias condition. Here holes will move across the junction and electrons will move towards the junction. So as a result, under forward bias condition, when voltage is increased there, under forward bias condition, even for less voltage, there will be exponential increase in current. It acts as a short circuit. Okay. Diffusion current will be from P to N. So the diffusion current will be high. So under forward bias condition, uh, circuit acts as a short circuit. Okay. Similarly, let's see. Now let's discuss on reverse bias condition. So what is reverse bias condition? When negative terminal of the battery is connected to the p-type and positive terminal is connected to the n-type, it becomes reverse bias condition. Okay, this is how the circuit would be. So when negative terminal is connected to the p side, the holes which are present in the p side will be attracted towards the negative terminal, whereas these electrons which are present, majority carriers which are present on the n side, will move towards the positive terminal of the battery, as a result of which the depletion region will be widened. The depletion region will be widened. So it will be like this. So all the charge carriers, majority charge carriers will move out of the junction and it forms a widened depletion region. Hence the diffusion current will be very low or negligible, or it is zero. Similarly, we have minority carriers in p side and n side. The minority carriers of p side will be electrons. So these electrons will be repelled and move towards the junction. Similarly, the minority carriers which are holes present in the n side will be repelled towards the junction. As a result of which we'll have a very low drift current, because minority carriers are very low. So hence we have very less drift current or reverse saturation current, we can say, that is from N to P. So that we can represent as IS. IS is the reverse saturation current, which is very low, which is opposite to that of the forward bias current. Okay, so as we see in the point of view of barrier potential, as we know, we have a negative fixed charge here and positive fixed charge in the N side. As you can see here, we are applying negative terminal to the P side and positive terminal to the N side. So we know that VBI is the barrier potential, VBI is the barrier potential, and V is the external voltage. Since we are connecting negative to the P and near the P side we have a negative fixed charges, and near N side we have fixed positive charge and we are applying positive terminal to the N side. So this barrier potential VBI will be widened. So this is satisfied from this expression as well. Similarly, in the forward bias condition, we are applying positive to P and negative to N. So we know that barrier potential is VBI. So since positive terminal is connected to P type where we have fixed negative charge, so it will have VBI minus V. So under forward bias condition, our depletion region will be reduced. So forward biased condition, it will be short circuited, whereas it acts as a short circuit, whereas under reverse bias condition, the circuit acts as an open circuit where the current is negligible or zero. We have very less reverse saturation current. So now we have come to the end of the session. Now I'll just summarize what we have discussed in this session. Okay, we have seen what is a PN junction diode and its working principle. So under working principle, we have seen what happens when it is zero biased, what happens when it is forward biased, what happens when it is reverse biased. So under zero bias condition, uh, no external voltage will be applied to the PN junction diode. So when a P type and N type are sandwiched, a depletion region will be formed formed. So under forward bias condition, positive terminal will be connected to the p-type, negative terminal of the external battery will be connected to the n-type. So as a result of which depletion region will be reduced. Whereas under reverse bias condition, negative terminal will be connected to p side and positive terminal will be connected to negative type material, as a result of which depletion region will be widened. Okay, this is what we have seen in this session. If you have any doubts, you can please post it in the comments. Let's meet in the next session and on a PN junction diode continuation. Until then, it's bye bye from Nishani Padmanabhan. Thank you.